One of the mysteries that will be solved during this campaign, of course, is the announcement of Trump's running mate. A lot of predictions are pointing to Ohio Senator and author of the bestseller Hillbilly Elegy. This is JD Vance. Do you think it'll be Vance? And if you do, what can you tell Australian viewers about him?
Well, he's definitely one of the favorites. JD Vance is an interesting figure because when he first published his book, Hillbilly Elegy, it was seen as a real insight into Appalachia here in America, a part of our country that's very much down on its times, has had huge problems with poverty and drug overdoses and other really tragic things. And he was actually heralded by liberal media outlets and really viewed as somebody who was thoughtful and insightful. But when he decided to go into politics and became a Trump supporter, he became very unpopular. And he was also originally somebody who was very against Trump, but like many Republicans, became a significant Trump supporter. Ideologically, he's different than your typical Republican here in the US. He has more in common with Democrats on different economic policies like trade or regulation or governmental approaches to the economy than your typical Republican would, but he still has the populist element in common with Donald Trump
Mm.
that they share. So that's why people think he could be his pick, and he's definitely one of just a couple of names left in that consideration. The other ones that are being taken seriously are Senator Tim Scott, who is probably the most famous Black Republican in America, and has supported President Trump both now and they worked together closely when Trump was president, as well as Doug Burgum, who's not a big name in American
Hmm.
politics. He's the governor of North Dakota, but he's kind of emerged as a dark horse candidate for Trump's VP slot, as well as Vivek Ramaswamy, the entrepreneur and presidential candidate who he's a lot more popular with young Republicans, and Trump could pick him to try to energize younger voters and youthful turnout because he's a lot younger, he's a lot more in touch with online and internet culture, but he doesn't have the same political background or qualifications as some of the other candidates.
All right, okay, for my mind, I think it'll be JD Vance, but we will see. It's imminent. Let's go now to Joe Biden and the impact of yesterday on Biden's campaign. I mean, I think in the short term, he's going to get a bit of a pressure valve out of this. It'll give him some cover, I guess, from all those escalating pushes into last week that he go after the horrendous debate, but that won't last. I think he wants to run the clock down until it's too late to change him out. But given how rejuvenated the Republican base is, surely the case to move Biden on, the base is locked in now. Turnout is assured for the Republicans. Doesn't that mean the case to move Biden on has only got more urgent?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, Biden is slow walking towards a historic defeat. So if Democrats had any sense to them, they would be doing everything they can to switch him out. But the problem is there's not really a mechanism or a way that Democrats can remove him as their nominee without his consent, without him going along with it. Because there was a primary process, although it was very kind of unfair primary process, shall we say. It was very much skewed towards the president as getting the Democratic nomination, but votes were cast, and he does have delegates. So they can't really remove him without his consent. They'd have to convince him to step down, which I just don't think he will. It's obviously what would be best for the country and for the Democratic Party, but I think Joe Biden has a bit of a God complex. I think he thinks I beat Trump in 2020 and I'm the only one who can save America from Trump. And what's interesting about that is that he did beat Trump in 2020, but he also looks like the candidate most likely to lose to him in 2024 because a lot of things have happened in those intervening years. Joe Biden has declined. We've had massive inflation. We've had a border crisis. And Trump has made something of a comeback. You know, after 2020 and his post-election shenanigans, he really had a fall from grace, but he's really made quite the comeback and kind of moved on. And I think a lot of people view his presidency more fondly as time goes on, as things get more hectic. So yeah, obviously Biden should drop out, but I don't think his ego and his narcissism will allow him.
I don't think it will either. We'll leave it there. Brad Polumbo, thank you for your time.